Ultra Prime run it back.
They do, because we know these kind of drafts, Orcs. Watch it happen. Especially with Meow News still in there. It's not ShiauC again, guys, so same support here for game number 2. But in all seriousness, maybe it does change up. Hopefully it does, because seeing the same draft is never entertaining as Aphelios. Okay. Orcs, what was next?
Yeah, it was Lucian.
God,
and then
okay.
What was next? Lucian Nami.
Yep. Which is open.
And then it was Lulu. It looks like FPX, they do realize we won the last game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't take it again. Maybe they're thinking, like, you know, maybe they have something prepared in their final picks. They're like, okay, is there anything that could shut down the Lucian Nami and be problematic, you know? Or do we just take it? Maybe they're just taking the time that they have to talk about it. But they lock Lucian, which means they're taking the Nami. And Ultra Prime,
Lulu.
They're just running it back. We have the exact same picks and bans so far. Ultra Prime bans Silas here. Okay, so there's a lot of mid lane bans. We'll see if they go in that direction once more.
Okay. Orcs, you're a genius. How are you predicting this? What's next?
Azir.
Oh, yeah. Oh, why? Oh, yeah, that's an interesting one. I wonder if it is going to be Azir, right?
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I feel like FPX, I don't see a reason why you would change. Unless, like, you're really concerned they're going to bring something out. And you're trying to think, what could they do? What could they change?
Oh, they changed the order. Rise.
They changed the order. Rise first.
So it is a different draft.
It is. This was Galio before. Do they ban the Lissandra here instead? Or do they ban the Galio again? That would be even... Imagine if, like, FPX just changed the order, but Ultra Prime just did exact same pick ban.
Yep. 10 seconds. Okay, let's go. Is it going to be the Galio? Going to be the Lissandra? Lissandra last game was so impactful. And Galio. Oh, Ultra Prime.
FPX,
all right, now.
Azir? Is it going to be?
Azir.
Yeah, come on. I'm hoping it just keeps going. I feel like we might not... Maybe we see these here, maybe we don't. But Ultra Prime, I would think they change the pick bans from this point. I feel like maybe they weren't confident on their solo lane picks. Maybe Zoom's Gragas wasn't what they were hoping it'd be.
Oh, Lissandra.
FPX banned the Lissandra. Maybe they were thinking Ultra Prime were going to pick Lissandra on 4, so they ban it. So we finally have a change in the draft. We finally have something come out. Yeah, maybe we could get Azir from Cryin.
Oh, no.
Not the best combo with the Lee Sin, but still works well with that front-to-back style for Ultra Prime. And then I would expect Zoom to take like a tank in the top lane. Something like the Sejuani would work well. So for FPX, you're now responding to that Azir. Looking at potentially something... Poke is often quite effective, you know, against the Azir. So it could go, you know, they hover the Corki, hover the Zoe.
Orcs, what do you think about Swainer? Is the problem range here? Because,
I think it's... Yeah. Problem with Swainer to Azir is like, you just get ulted away. And like... It takes so long to gain the distance, but they pick the Zoe, so something that can provide a lot of poke threat. And Ultra Prime, I really feel like something like Sejuani would make sense here, because they don't really have many tools to close the gap. Summit toying with his options, could go for the GP again, but may just go for that Gwen that we've seen be such a monster. Now, what does Zoom pick? Because I said, you know, you'd want to pick the Sejuani, it'd make a ton of sense. But if you pick Sejuani into Gwen, you're just giving Gwen a free lane, so...
Yeah.
Gonna go for the Kennen in the end.
Good. Finally, Zoom on something that can actually have a good time, Orcs. I feel like Zoom's Kennen in the past has been pretty insane. This guy's a great team fighter. He's a decent laner. And against Summit, tell me a little bit about what you expect here, because Ultra Prime have a very, straightforward team fighting, but you don't have a tank, Orc. So how does it run?
Yeah, so it's a lot about playing around the ranges, right? Using the Azir and the Aphelios to kite back. You know, you have these dive threats on the Wukong and the Gwen, and honestly, even Lucian kind of functions as a dive threat. And you just want to keep them at a distance, have the Kennen play disruption. But yeah, no like significant tank on their side. Might make things a bit rougher if they fall behind. But you have the Kennen, which is a good matchup to the Gwen. You should be able to find an advantage in the top lane. You have this Azir who, although the Zoe can provide some pressure, has a lot of wave clear, a lot of priority. And we saw Ultra Prime's bot lane handle the bot 2v2 fine. The main thing is they don't make a big mistake like last time. Don't give Lwx and Aux an advantage, or they may just snowball once again.
And with care as well on this Zoe, I mean, the ability to play at range, play through some of the scaffolding on Summoner's Rift, like some of the terrain. Care on Zoe is played it once before, but we really don't see Zoe that much in the LPL anymore. It's only been played 7 times, and, you know, seeing it time number 8. It's been a champion we've been long.
That's why we're seeing these new full AP max ult damage builds, because you can just fire it off like an artillery cannon. You don't have to get close to them. It's ridiculous.
Oh, hang on. Lwx and Elk going to be fighting it out. Hung and Care by themselves, but they're not going to go over the wall. And as you were saying, yeah, it is kind of rough how you can just walk into it. As Elk now in a bit of trouble. Trouble Bubble starts off, and as he goes Betty bye-bye. Elk now with no summoner, low HP, but he'll be able to back away as the lane starts.
Yeah, not a good start so far, and nice little play coming out from FPX to burn the summoner. Going to mean that Lwx and Hung can apply even more pressure in this 2v2 on the bot side with the summoner disadvantage. So we'll see if that comes out. Also, something I want to note, Lwx has gone for the cleanse instead of the ignite. I think that is the right call here. The reason being is that when Elk exhausts you, for example, you can cleanse it. You can also cleanse the polymorph. Obviously, the reason he's probably taking it this game is because he's against the Kennen, right? Yeah. But I actually like the cleanse on Lucian because one of the worst things that can happen on Lucian is you dash in to go for a heavy trade, you get exhausted, and then you can't get out again. Your dash is a very long cooldown early. True.
You use everything, and then you see a lot of these Lucian Nami lanes. Aux, I feel like that's why we walked away from it. The window to punish, always massive when you're at that level 3 point and you just commit everything and then have to run out with Aphelios poking you with range.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Lucian is good at taking a trade that can do a lot of damage, right? But you can sometimes, if you dash too far forwards, be left in like an extended trade that you don't actually end up winning out into a Lulu and an Aphelios. Often that's what we see, like Kalista Renata. That's why that lane was so good in Lucian Nami, because they can just extend the trade and they will win eventually once you get enough spears in. See, so far though, with Elk being down flash, you know, Ultra Prime's bot lane aren't applying as much pressure as they did in that first game, and it's actually going to be FPX's bot lane to get level 2 first, and they will zone them away.
Okay, Tide Call's Blessing and the Tidal Wave as well comes through. Lwx dashes into Elk and immediately regrets it. So far so good here, and as you said, that's someone hurting them quite a lot. And as the CS will start to show it too. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Care up against the turret with Cryin pushing him, and things going well, at least for Ultra Prime, in this angle with the range.
Clid here as well, just providing coverage potentially for his bot lane. This is the lane you really want to support, and actually will dodge out on that ward. So might be able to take a route in here, but we'll quickly realize that the camps are taken. Hacker's already been swept around and picked up his blue and Grom. And that does mean that we could see Clid just play towards the scuttle, especially as he has vision now of Hacker, and secure that one quite easily.
Clid still has his topside camps to go as well, so waiting for the scuttle is a patient move, but Hacker's already completed the camp. He's here now with a bit of an advantage, but Clid is immediately on top of that mini Shelly. Is still heading towards the bottom lane. I mean, Clid is persistent here, Aux, just in case Hacker was thinking about it.
Yeah, and I mean, this gives windows for Hacker, because Hacker has prio mid and, well, he doesn't have prio mid anymore, sorry, because it has bounced back. And actually, fight coming in.
And wants to pick up the cleanse here as Cryin picks it up, immediately flashes away. Care is low, and Hacker is one step away. The Sonic Wave needing to connect as Hacker, just to get into range, finds first blood with a yoink.
Really nice play coming out there. Hacker does maybe commit a bit too much of his resources, try and burst Care out, and that gives him space to kite. But in the end, he still gets the kill. TPs will come in for the mid laners. Clid will be able to pick up this scuttle on the top side as well, and then has his full jungle to clear through. But yeah, so we'll see exactly what Hacker did here. So I think he went in, so like he Q'd, then he flash E'd, I think is the place to Q.
Yeah.
Flash E, Q, and he thought that'd be enough to finish him. And unfortunately didn't, so we had to follow through to the end. But, you know, he tried to basically get as much damage off before he used the execute. Just slightly not enough to finish it, but still finding the kill. And nice influx of gold towards that Lee Sin. We saw Hacker's Lee Sin never really get off the ground in game 1. So definitely the boost he needs.
What you said, though, was that the topside jungle was available to Clid. So as camps are being done by Hacker in his Raptors, right now, blue buff into a potential opportunity for this topside. But Aux, having said that, Zoom's got wards up here. Excuse me, no he doesn't. That's on Summit. More importantly, Zoom has the health bar against Summit, as this Gwen is getting bullied in the matchup.
Yeah, Gwen having quite a rough time, in all honesty, getting really harassed down. And it's expectation. This is kind of how the matchup goes. Obviously, Doran's Shield's second win, you're going to help mitigate a decent amount of that, but the expectation is Kennen should have control of the lane, should be able to harass freely. And then obviously when it comes to team fights, both have a lot of strength. Notice as well, Hung has got the exhaust, so will be basically using that exclusively on the Kennen where possible.
Small CS lead, Cull stacking up, backstopped here on Hung in the bottom lane. Look at the CS differences. The wave has crashed in. Elk is now behind by about 10 or 8 CS in the end. So win here for FPX as they continue with that bottom lane trade. As Clid now back towards bottom side, and Hung's moving towards mid, but it's on a ward, and Cryin still has the ulti.
It still has that available. Definitely something you can use if you find the opportunity onto the Zoe, but obviously you can use her ult to dip away from it.
Back.
Right now, yeah, trying to apply pressure. Just get the wave crash. I think Care wants to go for a reset off the back of this. A little bit low in health. And I think something that we have seen that's been a positive from FPX is Clid and Hung have worked really well together as a unit. You constantly see them moving together as a pair and establish themselves on the map, you know, whether it's just pushing in waves for your mid laner, getting vision control. It's been that pairing, and it's particularly potent with something like a Wukong with a Nami, because, you know, Wukong is already quite bursty, already has a lot of mobility. Pair that with the extra damage a Nami offers, and you can really start to be a major threat. If you catch anyone like, you know, maybe a Lulu walking about, Meow will not get caught, as we see Summit just going to ult for the wave here.
Yeah, make sure he gets out a bit of a clear with Herald spawning up soon, especially with that dragon. Looking to be hovered to Zoom ultis, but Summit now, even without his own ultimate, gets off a better trade. Zoom just trying to apply his own pressure as they both walk away from each other. And further to your point, I mean, while that happens, while Zoom's ulti's up and he gets pushed back, FPX just take away this first dragon of the game.
Yeah, can pick that one up. And what a difference we've seen in the bot lane this game, since game one, where, like, Elk and Meow really managed to maintain... Oh, there's the ult.
Help portal jump comes through. Cares Sonic waved away, and Hacker kicks him for the kill. Second kill through this mid laner as Care starts 0-2.
And we kind of see it coming out, right? The portal jump can be used to completely mitigate the Emperor's Divide from the Azir, but you end up going back to where you started. No flash for Care as well. Means that Ultra Prime can just find it. And once more, seeing Hacker make things happen on this Lee Sin, finding some momentum. Although bot lane is a bigger problem. That's the thing I was trying to say, is that Elk and Meow managed the laning phase really well in game one. It's gone a lot worse this time round. Which does make me a little bit concerned for when this Lucian Nami do get into the mid game. But for now, at least they haven't died. That was one of the things, is that FPX did find that double kill a little bit later than this in that game one that really snowballed things.
I mean, that 2v2 broke the game, broke the straw on the camel's back. Elk and Meow were not useful at all in that 28-minute game, as now at level 6, you can see the aggression on. Good Aqua Prison here as Lwx has culling, but a minion wave in front. Elk as well, stacking up the chakrams, not even being sick, but still culling. Finally coming in as Meow doesn't have himself the wild growth and a good ebb and flow to follow up from Hung. While Hacker now spotted out on the bottom side wall, they back off from committing any further, but at least asserting their dominance in the 2v2, while Clid does the Herald by himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the problem, though, is the fact that you're not really getting anything to play for on the bot side. Most, you're going to maybe deny a wave. You can't even get the Krugs because you're going to get bursted out by FPX's bot lane if you try. In the meantime, FPX have the first dragon, they have the first Herald. You can see how respectful the FPX bot lane play here, knowing there could be a threat. But they should just be able to push back up in this situation, realizing they're not really going to lose anything more than a single. Maybe a second play actually could come in. No, I don't think it will. So, yeah, FPX get what they want. They get the neutrals. Ooh. And Elk trying to find something there, but doesn't connect.
A wild growth comes out as well. That's double ulti, and with the Aqua Prison down, Gravitum the only thing keeping Elk alive right now as he pokes out Lwx and Hung, but Ultra Prime's bottom lane, bit of a misplay as Clid now going to be spotted out, putting a control wall down, while Ultra Prime are trying to match in case this gets hairy, but that mistake, that's going to cost them quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, ult's been, I mean, it's not that big of an issue because there didn't been any summoners, but you saw one of the things with the Lwx cooldowns weren't available because he chunked Meow, so when the bubble came in, Lwx couldn't really follow up in that situation. And the nice thing is that Elk, you know, as much as I said, getting the plate isn't really worth losing the Herald, at least it helps mitigate that CS disadvantage he has. Elk really wanting not to fall behind in items. We saw what happened in game one when, you know, Lucian had Gale Force, Elk didn't, and Elk was just so much more vulnerable.
Close to getting it. You can see all components picked up, bar the combination cost. Boots picked up on top of that, as well as on the same side of Elk, just outside of the cloak of agility, because he is 20 CS down. We look towards mid, though, with Care has no mana. So Clid can't really do much with this Herald, and looking for a spot to put an Aux as he gradually shifts up towards that top side.
Yeah, we can actually see where he's going to put this one down. You could definitely look to try and snowball a lane. I personally think you got to remember game one, the Herald wasn't used very effectively by FPX. Actually missed out on the plates. I think you head bot, try and make a play. If you find someone, great. If you don't, whatever, and just slam the Herald down and get 2 plates. You actually see the towers already on 4, so you could find a lot more on the back of that. I think that should be the play for me. You can see again Clid and Hung moving together, sweeping out, trying to establish vision on the bot side, doing the homework for the play that they're planning to do in the future. They have been spotted out here, so Ultra Prime's bot lane should just back away. But I want to see this, give this gold injection to this bot lane. And not even just Lucian, the Nami as well, as we talked about. Benefits massively from being able to complete that first item.
Close there too. Only has a Kindle Gem and an Amplifying Tome, but still would be able to get himself towards that Battle Glass Mirror. As the Herald still not placed down. I mean, the ward on Hacker, knowing that he's on the bottom side, but very late Heralds today, Orcs, as this one is getting down to the wire at 30 seconds. Need to work is available for Summit. He's used the last proc. Zoom has his own ulti, but Flash was burnt before. Top is getting saucy.
Yeah, I mean, Summit doing a fantastic job. This is a lane where the Kennen should just be having control, be able to take pressure. And Summit's really been finding windows to punish Zoom so far. We've got a replay of how this happened. Yeah, just waiting in the brush. And Zoom ends up being forced to flat. Very quick flash, actually. Pretty early on that one. Now, do you see Clid coming down? He's going to put the Herald in place. They are going to get the plates this time around. I don't think there's anything that Ultra Prime can do to stop this one. But it will just be the 2 plates. Won't be the full tower.
Yeah, at least Lwx is near. No, it all goes to Clid. 320 in the bag. So Lwx doesn't benefit off that one at all. But still closing up some of the gold gap that Hackers started to bridge in this game. And you can see the reason why it's been growing in Ultra Prime's favor. Top with the CS lead, jungle with the CS lead, mid with the CS lead at this point. So FPX bottom lane right now, the only focus is the fact that, excuse me, they didn't get that bottom side Herald. It means that gold is still going to be relatively in those solo lanes and jungle for now.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Ultra Prime, despite the plates coming in, still at a pretty substantial advantage. But we now see Gale Force complete for the Lucian. Still don't have the mandate for the Nami yet, which is another big spike, but it gives you that extra opportunity to look for punishes in the lane, in the 2v2. That burst damage available and the mobility, definitely a big asset to have. But Ultra Prime, they feel confident, they feel strong. Hacker with the lead, which means they know they can pick up this dragon. It's now one apiece. It is going to be that Ocean Soul coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Which, honestly, I don't think it's the most impactful in this game. Definitely nice for things like Gwen and Wukong. But we said before, Ultra Prime's composition is pretty squishy. So it tends to be, like, in fights, people are just going to get blown up. There's not that much chance to use the sustain. I guess, you know, against the Poker Zoe, it's pretty solid, though. True.
And quick burst trades Lucian, maybe. But to be fair, burst against Ocean Soul's the complete opposite. You're going to be dead before you utilize it, so... With the way this game's going, we are going to get a longer dragon game, considering one apiece was picked up. FPX with the first dragon of the game, and Hacker, as you saw on your screen, second. And now we just wait for that second Herald to spawn up in about a minute. That's when plating will be down. That's when we'll be into a bit of a firmer mid-game as Ultra Prime hold that lead. First item's also coming out, Orcs, and Ultra Prime have themselves 3 versus 2. So I guess Luden's going to be coming through here from Cryin with a Gore Drinker on Hacker, and he's picked that up moments before Clid was just able to get Divine Sunder.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're going to see a lot of these coming in. I do want to hopefully see Hung get his Imperial Mandate before they go for this Herald, but I don't think he's going to have it in time. He has been sitting on those components for a while, but, you know, supports don't get that much income. And I think they might just make a play for this bot lane turret. You can see Ultra Prime have reset and headed top for the Herald, so FPX, they're going to take first tower and just trade that off and probably be pretty happy with that one, right?
Yeah.
Big influx of gold is going to be shared between these two, but it does mean I expect to see them back away from this top side, not overcommit here, although saying that Clid might be looking for an angle onto Zoom. Remember, Zoom has no flash.
He's not listening. Has a Slicing Maelstrom, though, as Herald's going to be started up. Not spotted out is this Wukong in brush, as Clid is going to play the patient game. 4 members here. Now the scrying gets him. Mianyu is going to run over, but not too close to that said brush. You look at the bottom side in the meanwhile, though. Lwx and Hung taking away the jungle camp. They've also got another wave there against the turret, and Care getting zoned out from the mid lane for the time being. So still a hell of a lot of gold onto our Lwx and Hung for this trade.
Hey, we had a 2,000 goal lead for Ultra Prime, and with that first tower and, you know, picking up the jungle camps, bit of farm here and there, It's only about 500 for Ultra Prime, and you know the second Herald isn't going to swing gold nearly as much unless you can get 2 with it. If you can get like a tier 2, but at the moment, you know, still not yet to take a tower. Ultra Prime probably just going to end up getting 1, maybe mid tier 1 could be valuable, but not the best position to be in. And now we look at the items. You know, I said Imperial Mandate came in. This is the big spike for Lucian Nami. I want to see them really start to try and find these windows, these opportunities to punish. You could just burst someone out who's caught sleeping. Elk is a great example, and also the Zoe, not quite at that point where you really start to threaten, but still can be a bit painful if you do eat a sleepy trouble bubbles.
I get it. Caught sleeping. Very good, Aux. I will say, though, if we don't get more kills, I know our audience there might start dozing off a bit because they expect something of LPL, but more importantly, they expect something of FPX as we get the needlework and finally get a bit more blood against the wall. Hacker with the kick follow-up, but now the range there for Summit. Hacker has gone far and wide to get the Sonic Wave, the flash burn, but the committal means the turret goes down with it too.
Yeah, just beautiful sweep up, not giving Summit really much of a chance to do anything with the Empress Divide into the kick. And now, ooh, does get the charge in. It's the second one onto that tower, so they get a tower themselves, they get a kill, they do get a second charge as well. Big positives for Ultra Prime, but it is traded back in return. Lwx and Hung did pick up that tier 1 top, so at least fairly even in that regard. Now Elk,
oh, Gale Force. Okay, well, Gale Force not used, just a relentless pursuit. Very close call from the AD carry of Ultra Prime.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm not sure if the Gale Force would have even actually stopped it, because you know when its last 0.5 seconds of it doesn't interrupt. But here, ward hop with the Q kick, and then the follow up on the Sonic Wave. Hacker basically doing everything to ensure he has enough damage to take out the Gwen. It is a tanky Gwen, I'll say that much. But the Lee Sin just having enough on the back end, and so far, Ultra Prime, who had a pretty disastrous game 1, in a much better position. And I just want to remind the audience of the stakes. If Ultra Prime lose this game, they cannot make playoffs. It is impossible for them. And even though they'll still have some more games to play, with the end of the regular season, their 2022 will end.
It's Ultra Prime, who we hyped up as the underdogs. This team that could be a dark horse with the roster provider. But look at them now. Facing down 3 and 10, it might be a good-looking game too, but sealing the deal around this Dragon seems to be the goal. As Care starting to hurt. Mianyo is out of the backside as Cryin now tries to poke them down. With TP coming through, this Azuma has flash available, but Summit's ulti is also there. Zone control played well by Care as Dragon starts.
They could have gone for a TP flank there, honestly. There were wards behind, even minions behind, but they opt to play more for the front to back, so they have to respect Care coming in with his poke.
Whoa, close call. Elk has himself no cleanse. Actually, it's an exhaust, so if he gets hit by a trouble bubble, FPX have the all-in.
Definitely have that window, and I think the main thing for Ultra Prime is they want to keep Cryin and Elk in a good position, let them DPS, whereas the FPX is about connecting onto that back line, whether it's through Zoe poke or it's through the Wukong. That's what we're looking for.
Fight. I want blood, Orcs. I'm sick of sitting here as Tidal Wave. Hacker with the Sonic Wave. No, it's not stolen. It's FPX's Dragon. A zoom now with the angle. That's a slicing maelstrom of dreams, but they all flash out. They culling and out the back line. Summit now here with needlework, and as Hacker runs on in, the rest of FPX are over the wall. Sonic Wave to connect, but he ain't taking that risk as Care is a baller. Over the wall, almost takes 2 for the price of 1. And again, showing the aggression that FPX bring.
Man, it felt like Zoom saw the window, but this is the power of exhaust. 40% damage reduction turns something that could decimate a team into, you know, a bit of poke, not enough to really take anyone down. And the turnaround is so swift there. You can see the Tidal Wave did a good job to zone. They don't get the angle to contest the Dragon. And then here, Zoom thinks he has it, but exhaust shuts down that damage. Isn't able to get more, and the fact that the Sleepy Trouble Bubble into the Gwenel just deletes him.
It's so nice combo from Lwx and Summit as well. Hacker almost taken out. Summit is the back-end fighters. Care, my God, is a 0-2 Zoe and already doing that. That's a Ludens for you, but it will get a little bit worse as Lwx helped pick up the kill for Summit in that fight. The Gwen now with gold on the board, and Orcs only a 900 gold lead here with Dragon precisely going to FPX. I mean, that's a big thing when we talked a lot about Ultra Prime being squishy, but having a lot of range to play for, especially in the late game.
100%. And I feel like that's the scary thing, is that they can be a massive threat. They can be a big problem. And FPX, even the deaths to pick up that dragon makes such a big difference in terms of like relieving the pressure of a soul from the side, threatening it yourself. And it just feels like Ultra Prime, they don't have the engage tools to try and really threaten. They're trying to play front to back. They're trying to play, okay, you guys engage on us and we kite backwards. But that only works if you're on the objective first, and they win in that situation. They're kind of pushing in themselves.
Had to walk in, and you even saw the strongest member in Hacker. He does a lot of damage, but once Hacker's out of the fight, everyone else right now is only going on par with the rest of FPX. As we look towards mid, Lwx and Hung want to kill a Moon Man. As he walks up, Hacker's nearby. That's going to be a no. And they're going to back off. But you got to admire the aggression that we've talked about from this duo since the start of spring.
Yeah. Looking to try and find it.
Great, Aux. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Hysterics. I just feel like sometimes you come out with these things and I'm like, I don't know where to go for this.
That's our job, don't worry. You know what you tell me? You tell me that Hung has actually been one of the best supports this year.
He's been pretty good.
I mean, he's been bloody great. Let's be real. I mean, FPX's duo bot lane has been the focus of their fights and the focus of their games. Once again, Lwx is set up for success, a 20 CS lead, and Infinity Edge well and truly on the way. But notice that top side, that Gwen that has got Shadow Flame on the way too. Two very big members with the looming Zoe. FPX is still very strong. But as we look towards Baron for now, TP going to be burned out by FPX, and Ultra Prime are just backing off, trying to draw them in.
Yeah, trying to get them to bait them into a fight. But they are the ones who can kind of dictate the pace. If Clid wants to start something, wants to jump in. Lwx gonna push in mid-wave, threaten this tower, but don't really think they're gonna be able to take it. And you just see, like, they have Cryin pushing the side lane, but the rest of Ultra Prime all have to just try and group together to defend against the plays. Also, we always talk about, like, Lucian Nami being this huge combo. Zoe Nami is actually kind of scary as well if you combo the Tidecaller's Blessing on top of the Zoe damage. Like, this is a champion who already one-shots, and you're adding damage. It's kind of absurd.
You can time it with Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Once you time out, get the damage, Acro Prison comes in, you're stuck there longer, and you're on that with the Imperial Mandate as well, Aux, so a good call. Care is close to getting that second item himself too, so with all that burst potential and the game slowing down until the next dragon, we're going to start talking about Ocean number 2. That'll be third for FPX if they can secure Ultra Prime with their second dragon too. They got mid priority here, but FPX are down in the bottom side, just outside the river in their own jungle, while Ultra Prime is setting up some of that deep vision to try and counter.
And I just gotta say, this is how the fight wants to go for Ultra Prime. Get there first, be in the river, be setting up the objective, and have FPX run into you. They need to have positioning on the dragon beforehand. The problem is, they've grouped up 5 initially to make that happen. Summit's like, cool, I'll just take your tier 2 top. And so now Zoom has to run over there to try and prevent this, or they're just going to lose so much off the back of this. They see now, they kind of know people have left. Mid's not in a good spot. And look, FPX instantly smell blood in the water, moving the dragon area. And now Ultra Prime have to try and regain this, you know, try and force their way in.
Against AoE like Wukong ulti, against Hung's tidal wave as well. Ultra Prime moving up, trying to find Clid. As Cryin scouting out with the soldiers, but FPX is split. All different angles as Zoom's even backing here, ready to TP in. But as Summit shows on the mid wave, I mean, this level 14 Gwen with 2 items herself is going to be able to handle and add pressure to mid while Ultra Prime are just getting swayed.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra Prime at least are trying to make their way in, but it's a similar setup we saw to the previous dragon. And it just feels like FPX is going to flip this one and then run away.
And they're just going to get outsmarted. Okay, well, at least get Trouble Bubble onto Zoom in the back end. That's nice. It's Clid with a 2-man Cyclone, the culling as well. And here's Summit laying down with the needlework. It deletes Meow Nu as Zoom comes in late with the ulti. But will it really be enough? Zoom lives on to tell the tale, but Care is now in with a double and make it 3. Trouble for Cryin, who gets sent back as Clid goes over. Care with a quadra kill. Zoe, the 300-year-old. It's only triple, excuse me, but bam, it hurts.
I mean, it was just the worst case scenario for Ultra Prime. They want to be on the objective. They want to kite backwards. How can you do that when a Gwen is already on your back line? And we just see them get deleted here. You know, they do manage, we do see Ultra Prime at least manage to get the dragon in this situation. But the way the fight plays out, firstly, Zoom is asleep, so he can't do anything. But both Meow and L get knocked up. And then look at this third ult from the Gwen, decimating them. Lwx does go a little bit danger close on that one, but the cleanup is there. Care just completely pops off. And in these messy fights, Zoe just has infinite summoners. Flashed away, gets another flash, flashes out. Flashing for days. There's even another on the floor that Care doesn't actually grab. Oh, there's still one on the floor. There's just so many flashes. Summoners for days.
I know, it's amazing. Teamfight Zoe. Horizon focus picked up now, by the way. 3.7k damage. It's been a while since we've got to quote, you know, things like 200 years. We've got Aphelios in the game, but it ain't him this time. And Care might be level 14, a level down against his opposing mid laner. But he has a bounty, and he is now absolutely one-shotting people like Cryin without his Banshees too. From Bubble going to come out as Ignite gets dropped on down. Wants to take the 1v1. Care's got backup though as Clid's on his way. Sun Turret comes up to help save, but with a portal jump under turret, Care missing quite a bit as Hacker has just died in the interim, or at least close to. Zoom's going to be denied for now as Lwx going to be the target. He's stunned up as Ultra Prime make their comeback here, but Clid is going to die too. I don't know what to say about this game, but it is just going absolute bonkers up.
Yeah, that one was messy from FPX, and Ultra Prime, you know, Hackers are trying to sustain on the Lee Sin with the W. They should just be able to take this Baron. TP coming in from Summit though. Whoa. They don't want to let this one go.
Oh my god, double TP, and he has the needlework, almost level 16, but look at his AP as Hackers the one low. The poke coming through is going to start with Care as there's the first part. The second needlework, Hacker's dead. Summit gets Cryin to half HP as well. Job done. That Orc is out of there. FPX now on the chases. You can see Ultra Prime have Zoom without an ulti himself. Summit has done enough, and that is just the perfect rendition of needlework in 12-13.
Devastation for Ultra Prime. That was the window back in the game. That was the window, the opportunity for them to find it, but they get forced away. We're going to replay of that fight. This was just such an absolute mess. TP comes in on the Sun Turret. Cryin's able to disengage initially, but we see Lwx using all of his mobility, and then Zoom is like, this is like the freest ultimate that a Kennen has ever had. Bear in mind as well that Exhaust is being used on the Dragon fight, so it's not available for this one. Zoom finally gets to do full damage, and it really is starting to hit.
It is, because now, well, on the side of FPX, at the very least, they've got a gold lead. They're almost 3 items strong here on some of these core carries. In fact, Lwx now has the Infinity Edge. Is someone who has been relatively more quiet, with Elk actually getting the majority of kills for Ultra Prime. But I want to say that with now the Dragon back up in a minute's time and Care continuously hitting bubbles, FPX have position advantage again.
Look what Summit just picked up.
Oh, Rabadon's time. All right, that's definitely item.
Yeah, that is. that's not him. That's doing something. Oh, Hacker.
Yeah, got him. Paddle star, portal jump, half HP. All right, he's now going to back away. Zoom is joining in. But Summit's angle is what is giving me cause of concern right now.
Yeah, bear in mind. So, as I said earlier today, the new Gwen, you kind of play him for your max ult damage, right? You can now just cast ult. You don't have to damage to get your second and third one. You just wait a second. So level 16, your ult is maxed, right? You have Rabadons and Shadow Flame for like maximum output off it. If someone hits an R3, someone dies.
Hung might be called out. Cryin running forward. And Act Prison to zone off as Lwx sticks around too. Someone who we were just talking about is waiting in the wings. Right now, Ultra Prime should know that he's somewhere around here. But as he gets spotted out in the mid wave, they still want to go all in for Clid. But 5 members here in a straight line always gives me goosebumps. 3-item Gwen runs away as Dragon's now live. Ultra Prime as a unit are going to move into River, but look at the angles that FPX begin with.
Yeah, and it feels like we're having a deja vu. Every time we get this Dragon set up, FPX are in this position, and Ultra Prime have to approach, and now Dragon gone. I don't think you get a fight out of this either. Too much mobility in FPX. They'll try and push through, but no way FPX are going to opt into a fight unless they find the angle. So Ultra Prime, they group up, they posture, and they get nothing. And now, look at the side lanes. Huge wave top. Pretty big wave bot as well. Ultra Prime have to respond. This means FPX can maybe put some threat, maybe look for a pick mid, but looks like a reset's just going to come out.
But look at Summit. I mean, Summit hasn't left. Summit's playing the angles. Here's the Needlework part 2. As onto Hacker and Meow knew that Lee Sin kick has to get him out of there. Summit still with one Needlework. You're backing in the brush. Please do not do that.
You gotta be a little bit careful on that one. Now you're taking a lot of damage. Obviously, an AoE ability doesn't quite one-hit the Lulu, but does a scary amount. And Summit did burn Ghost, did burn Ultimate, but the Ultimate will at least be back pretty quickly on that one. And now Lwx, FPX, sorry, feel confident with 3 dragons in pocket, are leaning towards that soul.
Hacker's going to be zoned out. Still in a ward. Lwx and Hunger here over the wall. Sonic Wave is going to connect, but Hacker jumps on in for the steal. But to steal it, was that worth it? Care not getting the snipe, though. Hacker lives. Maybe it is as Cryin gets the first kill of the battle, but Summit's joining in with Zoom's ulti, finally getting value. Summit left on an island, though, and Hacker's back in to cause the effect. Now over the wall, he's got Needlework yet again. Are you ready? Onto Elk, the exhaust in. Last part of the Needlework, doesn't get it. And Ultra Prime punish FPX again.
How does that work? How does it work that Hacker suicides for a red buff
and live?
And they win the fight? That doesn't make any sense. I was so ready to flame him. I feel like he's been rewarded for his bad behavior. Now Clid is going to try and steal it away, but he is being hunted down.
He is, and look, with Zoom here as well, it's going to be so hard. Stunned up and left hanging. Baron going to go to Ultra Prime. A game 3 maybe now. More likely as Ultra Prime just, yeah, you're right. Hacker went very greedy here, and I can't believe it worked.
I just don't understand. I feel like they had no idea the Hacker was going to do this, and that's what made it work. They were like, there's no way he pressed his key. They didn't even rationalize it, and it caught them so off guard. FPX just had no idea what to do after that. And Zoom comes in, wasn't exhausted this time, importantly enough, and they managed to clean up the fight. But I don't even know what to say, Hysterics. I just feel like Hacker living in a world of his own.
God, Hacker's that kind of player. We talked about him, you know, seeking thrills, I think is the easiest way to put him up. A Hacker, someone who's been in the league for so long and is that player who's kind of been flippy at the best of times, and that is the perfect way to describe him as TP comes through with his Baroned up team. Because it worked, now it's like, oh, I should do that more often. Oh, yeah, that's right. That was a good play now because it worked. God. It's so rough because what we were seeing was FPX taking so many great angles. Now after Baron's been taken, after Ultra Prime took the fight, we're swinging it right back with a 4-item Aphelios. Cryin in a great position as well. And these side turrets finally starting to be battered down. There's a lot of gold that FPX are now losing with Ultra Prime swinging a 3k gold lead in their favor.
And I mean, if you aren't able to find the burst angles from FPX, the extended fights, Ultra Prime with the Azir, with the Aphelios will find.
Got jungle. Hacker still not punished here, but he's going to run away. Healing up as well as Summit is defending by himself, but Care is hitting bubbles galore. Elk blocks up, and now Care in a bad position, and Sonic Wave, a great sidestep from the mid laner. And Ultra Prime still trying to play the aggression. Elk will be fine, he has Severum, but at the very least, Ultra Prime are getting delayed with their siege slowing down a little bit with the next wave coming in.
They should find that mid tower just on the back of this next wave. Not really much FPX can do to defend, and there should be the inhib going as well. Mid inhib, not the worst to lose, all things considered, but definitely not a positive in the current situation of the game. Now, FPX, we look towards that dragon in 40 seconds. It's going to be very hard for them to contest it when they have super minions pushing in mid, when Ultra Prime still have the Baron.
Oh my God. Care just doesn't miss, does he? I mean, we're going to get away from this, but Ultra Prime now looking for the pick on top of Hung. Cryin runs on in as Hacker zoned out. Lwx still danger close as Summit returns. And look at who he's found. Onto Zoom, over the wall. He knows they're all there, but Summit thinks he can take him as Care probably can't anymore. Drop Bubble still connects as we're just lingering here, but TP coming through. Tidal Wave Care jumps in anyway. In the choke! Summit gets the perfect ulti. Zoom, meanwhile, doing the same, but he's quickly bursted down. That's how FPX come together. They're wombo enthralling.
And Summit on the flank angle now.
How do you get out? How do you get out? How do you get out? Summit backwards. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one thing. In Greek mythology, Timus means to honor God. At level 18, Summit on this Gwen. Now looking for the 1v2. The snip enhances Hacker and Cryin run away. But Cryine's been caught out yet again, denying the damage, stealing buffs. But FPX still win the fight as Lwx comes in for the angle now with Ocean Soul. Hacker lives on, but it's FPX now with the salt in this game too.
Oh, some extra combat power. Ultra Prime definitely did not want FPX to get that one. As much as I said, like, it wouldn't be, you know, the best game for Ocean Soul. Summit and Clid are going to be a menace to deal with. And it's just a beautiful combo. The angle that came in here. Trouble Bubble connects, hung with the ult over the top. And then the Wukong as well. Elk, nothing he could do there. And we see Zoom go for an ult return. But the exhaust comes down. Still does enough damage to one hit hung. Even with the exhaust. But Lwx a bit tanky and he will survive in here. The chase down comes in. Care actually using the Gale Force. And remember, Gale Force does magic damage. So quite a lot when you have that magic pen that the Zoe does.
Chase down insane. The Zoe now with a Magi. Care has got 10 stacks and I guess it's only up from here if you believe in FPX, but Ultra Prime still up with a gold lead, but now they're facing the Ocean Soul, and this is what we talked about. You know, if Ultra Prime would have been nice to maybe survive some of the burst, but for FPX, when we look at the sustained DPS here, Aux might come in handy.
Yeah, and something as well, like it's such a small node, but I feel like Lwx is permanently out of mana, right? Normally, we don't see it so much anymore, but Essence Reaver was like a great item solution for the mana regen, but Ocean Soul obviously does restore mana, so...
True.
I feel like he's like it's such a luxury because often like the fix to it is just like make sure you don't run out of mana, like reset in time. But I feel like Lwx is enjoying the fact he can now just spam his abilities with a little bit less concern.
And he can be so aggressive, right? He's got the GA too. That's actually full item now. Serelda's Grudge picked up outright here as Lwx makes that final back. And at 37 minutes into the game, we're at that point there with 80 carries. Both full item build. Mid laners getting to that point as Rabadon's now picked up here for Cryin. Look across the board. We saw the Zhonya's before here from Care and the Magi's I mentioned. But top laners too. Zhonya's for both. Zoom and Summit both level 18 in this upcoming fight, which feels like it's going to brew over Baron Orcs.
Yeah, feels like we're set up for it. Actually, oh, bit of connection there. Yeah, I feel like you don't want to flip it on the Elder because with Elder, it's like whoever smites wins. Whereas Baron is about to set up for the fight themselves. Elk's running.
And Needlework's coming through. Elk's going forward, flashes into it, into Summit. That's a big move here from the 80 carry of Ultra Prime as Clid disappears, but Care gets a trouble bubble in the meantime, setting up the paddle start, but will not take the risk. Ultra Prime now with that are going to move to Baron.
But the thing is, Summit's ult's pretty low cooldown, and he has TP, whereas Elk is now flashed up. A little bit risky from Summit TPing that close, but we'll be fine. But yeah, you burn flash on your Aphelios to make that play. And the only real lasting impact I feel like on Summit is the fact that he took his ghost. Obviously, Care now flashless. Oh,
hitting
you
everyone.
See how whenever the Sleepy Trouble bubble comes in, all of Ultra Prime just kind of freeze and they're just ready in case there's follow-up.
Oh, but Clid's angle is something I need to be worried about because Summit's almost got ulti up as well into Elk. He's frontlining. Elk going frontlining into GA while Clid gets the backline. Timus returns here with Elk just dead. Making the brutal play before, but Aux, he burned his flash before as Cryin has to run away. Zoom with the ulti out, but now he exposed himself as Summit's ulti through the choke is going to hurt them all. This is honoring a god in the top lane, honoring a god in the mid lane, and honoring FPX, who are looking for the end.
Just out of nowhere, Elk makes a critical error. Flashless, gets punished, and now it's the last two to defend.
Trouble bubble comes in, yeah, running in, and the flash over. Cryin will die even with his soldiers out and about. FPX will eliminate Ultra Prime and Rare Atom, the 2-for-1 blow that keeps their playoff dream alive here at the start of week number 9, and that was a messy one, to say the least.
Man, and the pressure being back on stage for the first time in a while, and Elk just crumbles. And now, as you said, Ultra Prime cannot make playoffs anymore. I'll be real, they were already in a rough spot with a 3-9 scoreline, but with this, there's no sort of scenario where they end up making it into that top 10. And FPX, not the cleanest performance in that game too, but they managed to bring it through in the end and keep their hopes in at least a decent spot.
Look, the win's a win, right? And 2-0 when we said that they really don't 2-0. FPX have only done it a couple of times during this split, and when they get their wins, it's hard fought out. It's always game 3. And it must feel good considering that they had that win streak. They looked great with Summit. And in this series again, like especially game 1, that was the FPX we could see that could make playoffs.
For sure. I honestly feel like if FPX play like that in that game 1, this is the FPX we saw in that big win streak where everyone was super hyped over. I think they are still in a decent spot, but the challenge comes later in their schedule because they have to play Weibo later this week. That is the big one. They also have to play WE, which I expect them to take. I think WE are really struggling to get a win of anyone else we've seen. So if they can beat out Weibo, they're actually in a good spot, right? If they don't beat Weibo, still possible. But the Weibo one could be massive, especially depending on whether it's a 2-0 or a 2-1, what direction that goes in. But the main thing is, at this point, it's not even just about the series. The games matter, I feel, for the game difference. Absolutely. Getting a 2-0 compared to a 2-1 can make all that difference. And teams are starting to feel the crunch, the pressure, especially going back on stage after such a long time, on top of the fact that you have, you know, 3 potentially series left. FPX now only have 2 left. You can't afford to falter.
I just can't believe that game came down to Elk. Like, Elk had such an amazing engage through mid, and then Elk suddenly frontlining when he just burned his flash. Aux, he was the one that burnt the flash for the play. And he's like, I don't have summoners, I'm stuck. I'm caught.
Yeah, he just got left isolated, and you only make one of those mistakes, and it's super costly. And it makes you question why he went for that aggressive play with the flash. Felt almost impatient, because as much as, like, he didn't actually burn that much from the side of FPX. Like, he got the ghost, and I think he got Care's flash, but it just wasn't worth it when you're so much of your team's damage, when you need to be this, like, buffed up superpower as the Aphelios. Dashing in like that, using your summoners, you know, definitely costly.
It is, and I feel like at this point now, we can start talking up the potential of FPX. As you already alluded to, the Weibo win is kind of needed, or at least would be helpful, right? Still a chance to make it, but FPX, their game differential, Aux, that's what scares me. 6 and 8, 7 is where a lot of teams are lingering right now. And the fact that TT can still get up to 7 as well with a relatively decent schedule. You know, teams like BLG can still try and get up there too. I'm kind of wondering how confident FPX will feel on that number. Is that gold graph, though. Forget what playoffs is. That's just a gold graph. Oh my god.
That is something. And credit to Cryin. Man, Cryin has had a really good split. Regardless of the condition of Ultra Prime at the moment, Cryin has had a good split. And here again, 36,000 damage, doing what he can, and it just wasn't enough. But FPX, you know, there were some falters, but they brought it back, and they brought it back in force.
They did. Look at the damage, dude. Like, Cryin tried his heart out once again at the start.